Okay, so welcome to this demonstration from my GSD Labs. So in my GSD Lab we have a couple of labs that we can use, to get started for the RACSA exam, RACSA 7. But also we have a series which is called Quick Tips. Quick Tips are the tasks that we absolutely must know, not only for the exam but also for real life. In this case, we're gonna work on tip number 1, which is configuring an LDAP authentication. So it's basically to configure Autofs and LDAP authentication using the below settings, which is, these are the settings that we're going to use. So let's log into our online server. Okay. And alright, let's start. The first thing we're going to do is configure Autofs. So let's install it first. So yum install Autofs. Some people like to use -y just to get it over with, but I'm used to I like to see what I'm installing. So but it's up to you anyway. So yes, to install it. Perfect. So the next thing is to define the mount point. So the mount point for the home directory. I always like to take a look first to see what are the exports on the NFS server. So to do that, you do show mount -e and then ipa.mygsdlabs.local. That's gonna show me the mount point. In this case, I have only the home and then NFS share. So to create the mount point on Autofs, we need to configure first the etc auto.master, and in here we're going to define that mount point, which, if you recall, was home/NFS share. And then we're going to tell Autofs that when a user is trying to access the home/NFS share, to execute the etc/auto.nfs share. Perfect. So get out of insert mode and we save it. The next step would be to create the auto.nfs share file. So vim etc and then auto.nfs share. And in here we're going to start with star, which is going to be the user, whichever user is trying to log in. Then the options to mount it, in this case read write, and then the directory, which is IPA, the NFS directory, which is ipa.mygsdlabs.local column/home/NFS share. And then we want to mount whatever matches this star over here. So if we are logging in with LDAP user 1, then it will match it as home NFS share and then LDAP user 1. If we log in with LDAP user 2, then home NFS share, LDAP user 2. So that's it. Next thing is to start the Autofs service. So system ctl start Autofs. And then we need to make sure that the service is enabled for the next time we restart the system. The service will be restart as well. So create a symbolic link using the systemctl enable. Right now, next step will be to configure the system to use LDAP for authentication. So there's a couple of tools that we can use. I like particularly two of them. We have the graphical interface and the text user interface. So I'm going to demonstrate both of them because in cases where we don't have access to a graphical environment, then we need to use a text user interface, and it's a little different how the configuration goes. But if we do have access to a graphic interface, the graphic interface is very easy, and we can make fewer mistakes. So opening the graphic interface, we just select LDAP here. We can ignore this error. It's like actually looking for a package, because I have the authentication method here defined as kbearer's password, but we're going to use LDAP in this case. We're going to use TLS, and if we go back, the TLS certificate is located on FTP, IPA, MyGSD Lab, and then pub and then CSCRT. So let's just enter that address right here, FTP epa.mygsdlabs.local, and then column public, pub for public directory, and then ca.crt, and apply. And if everything goes well, we should be okay. So to test it is u minus LDAP user1, and we logged in. Let me look at the working directory, and the working directory is home, NFS, and then LDAP user1. So obviously Autofs is working as expected. So let me exit out of here and clean up the configuration a little bit. I'm going to do it now using the text user interface in case we don't have access to a graphical environment. So to do that, let me just clean up the configuration here, and then let me go into the etc and then open LDAP directory and then CS search. Here is where the LDAP configuration will save the trusted certificates. If we do an ls, you will see a couple of files that were created with autoconfig. So I'm going to remove those files. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the configuration. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. So the first thing is we need to download the TLS certificate to this directory. If you remember, the directory is etc open LDAP. Let me open LDAP and then CA search, right, which is where we are right now. So that's where we are. So wget ftp epa.mygsdlabs.local /pub/ca.crt, and that's it. We have it here. The certificate is downloaded. The next thing we need to do is just make sure that since we have let me just get enforce. We have SE Linux on enforcing mode, so we want to make sure that we have the right context. So restore cont and then CA search on that file. That should do it. Next thing, we're going to run the text user interface for auth config text user interface. The configuration is very simple now, so we use LDAP, and then next we're going to use LDAP authentication. Next, and since I did the configuration earlier, the server, the LDAP server is already defined here, so this matches the settings that from the exercise. So we have there, and then we have the base DN as well already defined, so we don't need to do anything. We just tell the server that we need to use TLS, otherwise it's going to make us use LDAP-S, right, to connect securely to the server, which is, so okay, and that's it. So SU minus LDAP user1 and print working directory. So we are logged in as LDAP user1, and then we are on the home directory, which is the NFS shares. We do an ls, we're going to see some test files that we added to the shared drivers to make sure that we're on the right place. So thanks for watching.